Okay, radio check.
What do I say?
That's perfectly fine, I can hear you.
Cat flight 1785, departure frequencies 119.75, squawk 5311.
5311, 1785.
Cat 1785, runway 29, taxi via Charlie, Alpha, cross runway 36.
Taxi via Charlie, Alpha, clear to cross 36, 1785. And you still have sun in your face somehow. Portland Tower, Cap 1785, shorter 29 or Alpha.
Cap 1785, Portland Tower, proceed on course, caution right turbulence for the departing regional jet, wind calm, runway 29er, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff 29er, 1785. Mixture in, lights on, and we'll pull out onto the runway. How you feeling? Excited?
Yeah, this is really cool.
All right, so we're lined up, our mixture is in, we're all set, and we're going to watch our power as power comes up. Full power, we're accelerating, we're making full power. I'm on the right rudder a little bit so we don't steer off to the left, and our speed is up. 26.22. There we go. And took the nose over just a little bit so I can get the flaps up. Flaps are coming up. And now we want climbing speed. Up and away we go.
Cap 1785, maintain VFR and flighting 360 vector for traffic entering the harbor.
360, 1785. So we're in our climb here, and you can see off to the left Mount Washington from
Cap 1785, contact departure 119.75, good day.
119.75, 1785.
Portland approach to Bird 4381 with you 11,000, Mike.
Additionally,
put the nose down, and I'm applying pressure to do that, right? So like, if I let go, we start to climb again, right? So this knob here, if I go one turn in the nose down direction, that pretty much negates that. The first thing that I want you to do is to just put your hand here loosely. And you only need one. So this hand can relax. I usually fly with my hand on the throttle, but you don't need to touch the throttle.
Whiskey, maintain VFR at or above 5,500 traffic. 3 o'clock
is enough force to make you go up. That's enough force to make you go down. So it doesn't take a lot of control. You know, it doesn't take a lot to make the plane move, right? And then likewise,
341 traffic.
That's all it takes to start a turn. And see how I went turn and then neutral, and then it holds it. Turn,
above 5,500.
and then neutral, and it holds it.
Remember 10 Lima if you're not already.
And then, can you reach the pedals with your toes?
10 Lima on 11975.
So when I make a left turn, I'm squeezing just a little bit with my left foot. And then likewise, when I make a right turn, I'm squeezing a little with my right foot. It doesn't take much. All right. Take us to Augusta. Your controls.
How are the controls?
Your controls.
All right, so how would I turn this to get, would I just turn it a little this way?
Yep. So a little bit left.
Back to
and
neutral?
that's, yep. Back to neutral. You don't need a huge intercepting line to get us back on the course there. And ultimately, if you're generally near that line, we'll still get to Augusta.
Seems like it's turning in a weird direction. How do I...
So, if you want to stop turning to the right, turn left. And then let it turn left for a little bit.
Turn left heading 090.
090.
I turn it back to neutral?
Not yet. And now level our wings. And then, there you go. So what I want you to do now is, our wings are pretty level. Look out at the horizon and kind of see what that looks like. And then look and see how much ground you see. You don't raise your head to do it. No, sit how you like normally would sit. And then just look and see how much ground you see. And you know, it might be like two thumbs worth of ground before the horizon, something like that. I can hold the controls for a second while you do that. You just go like this and see about how much ground you see.
Doing that, yeah, 2 thumbs probably.
2 thumbs, yeah. So if you start to see a bunch more ground, then you're descending. And if you start to see less and less and less ground, now we're climbing. Okay? So that's how you can do that. And then if you start to see the ground looking high on one side and low on the other, that tells you that you're in a bit of a turn. And you have an instrument here which actually shows you the same thing. This is sky, and that's ground. And so they actually kind of look the same, right? The slope here is the same as the slope up there. And you have a tiny one right there that you can even look at.
All right.
But it's better, especially in the beginning, to focus outside the plane, and then you can look at these things for a second, and then look back outside. But most of what you're doing should be outside.
All right, did you want me to turn a certain direction?
You're the one flying the plane.
So I can, like, go that way?
Oh, if you want.
Cool.
Portland approach, Cap 1785 is going to be doing some air work in the vicinity of our current location.
Cap 1785, roger.
Okay, so now.
It's beautiful.
Big and beautiful.
Good morning, Cirrus 15A Bravo, climbing 1,300 for 6,500.
15A Bravo, flying departure, good morning, radar contact. Where else to be climbing to?
6,500.
Thank you.
Okay, so you made a great left turn there. Why don't we try a right turn? So we'll look out, we'll raise our right wing, we'll look out that way, and then we'll look over here to make sure there's no traffic. And then, typically if I'm making a right turn, I'm going to sit forwards, because you have a pillar right here and you can't see, and I'm going to look out where I'm going. Right there. And then we just make sure that we don't lose our nose. And a touch more right pedal. Just a hair. A little bit. That looks good.
For 01 Whiskey, contact tower 120.9. Have a good day.
You got this. See, I told you to get it.
Cool. I've never seen Maine from this angle.
It's beautiful in winter. Beautiful in fall. It's always beautiful.
Charlie 1,500 for 8.5.
You're right. Looks clear. And we'll make a right U-turn.
3013, runway 29, 3035 Delta.
And a touch more right pedal.
341, request to cancel, please.
Cat 341, IFR cancellation received.
IFR cancellation. I'm sorry. Portland approach, number 31, Victor 311, Victor Alpha at 3,500.
Foxtrot 1,400, climbing to 4,500 to Beverly.
For 9093 Foxtrot, point departure, radar contact.
Good, and we'll roll out there. And we lost a little bit of altitude, so we'll climb back up until that hand gets back to the 5. And that's a good climb here. We'll keep a little bit of ground visible, so that way we're not shooting up like a rocket or anything.
Cap 1785, changing my frequency 128.35.
128.35, 1785.
Turn a little more.
Yeah, and you do have a little bit of a headwind that is slightly off to the right as well, and I can see that right here. There's nothing on your screen that tells you where the wind is.
181 November, maintain VFR at or above 4,000. For now, there will be traffic passing underneath you, 3,500. Altimeter 3013.
So looking at that horizon, just like I had pointed out in the last flight, you want to try and keep that stable, and for me, it works out to be about 2 thumbs at cruise speed in a sky lane. So I can hold the controls for a second, and you Stack your thumbs one on top of the other one and see how that looks. Is that about level with the horizon?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's about how much ground you should see. And it takes a little bit of visual perceptive learning to recognize compared to like a car where you're just on the ground unless you're going really fast over a hill, right? Which you're not supposed to do. But here we can move in all directions of axis, which is a new feeling for a lot of people. Okay, so the next thing to talk about that is new for this flight is how do we actually intentionally make the plane climb or descend? So if we're talking, a couple of 100 feet or so, you can make the plane climb or descend by pulling back on the yoke or pushing forwards on the yoke. So why don't we do that? So just so you can know what that feels like. All right, and then so if you held that climb angle, we're climbing. But what's also happening is we're losing a couple of knots of speed.
Contact, maintain 10, 10,000.
So this is good for climbing small distances. If we're going lots of altitude, you'd actually want to then add a little more power here. We don't have much room to add. Now we're at maximum cruise climb power, basically. Now if you wanted to descend, what do you think happens if you just push the nose down right now?
We'd go really fast.
Right, and the faster you go, the more lift you make. So if you were to push the nose down and start to descend, it becomes harder and harder to descend because as we gain speed, the plane wants to go nose up, right? So that's not the greatest way to do that. So bring us back to level, and the best way to do that is to have us trimmed for the speed we want to go, and then to just ease the power back. And now if you let go completely for a second. We're descending, right? Here, let go, because I want to trim us a little bit better here.
Yankee, maintain VFR at or above 3,500 through the Charlie.
So now lightly, at a power of 16 inches, descending at 800, 700 feet per minute.
Tower 92 Yankee, maintain
Great, and now if we want to stop that descent, when we get to 4,500, I'm going to put us back to cruise power. And then we shouldn't accelerate. What should happen is our descent should stop. So here that is, ready? Our descent is slowing down, our nose is coming up. There we go. So you're going to have us do a descent by putting your finger here and then gently pulling this black knob back until this comes down to about 16.
4,400 feet,
So put your right hand here. You don't have to push or pull. And then here, I'll help you with it. So that way it's not like aggressive or anything. And pull that back. And we'll leave it right there. And there's our descent. Now, when we want to stop that, we're going to push this back in.
What, 21?
About 21 or so, and leave it right there. Okay, look to the right. Looks clear. Make a right turn.
Portland approach, Starbreeze 92 Yankee. You'd like to widen out to the east a little bit if that works.
Starbreeze 92 Yankee, approved as requested, and altitude your discretion. You can start the descent whenever you're ready.
All right, approved.
And a little right pedal.
Discretion for 92 Yankee, thanks.
And then a little bit back on the nose. That looks good. to be aware of. Okay, so we've done our clearing turns, and our speed looks good. And so I'm going to just nurse the mixture in a little bit in case I have to add power, that I'm not doing it too lean. And I'm going to add some power and roll in to a left turn to 45 degrees. Now, as I'm doing it, the nose wants to dive, right? We talked about that. And so I'm pulling the nose back. Hold it up. And I'm looking out the window, out the windscreen, and I'm occasionally glancing down at this just to make sure that
Have a good day.
Thank you for your help. Have a good day.
my altitude is staying stable, and that my attitude looks where I want it.
Auburn Listen traffic.
Right now, we're almost entirely trimmed for a steep turn. We're making a 45-degree bank turn without losing or gaining any altitude. Almost hands off, right? And that was at 19.3 manifold pressure. And so as I roll out, I'm going to come back on the manifold pressure a little bit, because otherwise we're going to climb like crazy. Okay. So 15 inches and a half puts us at level flight going straight, and then 19.3 inches in a turn kept us below maneuvering speed and without sinking, without having to touch trim at all. That looks good. About 90 knots. Good. You're at about 30 degrees, 35 degrees, here's 45 degrees. So I'm going to give you back the power that we know worked for me. There you go. That's enough to arrest the sink rate. Don't turn any steeper. Hold it right there. But you're going to need a touch more. Yeah, good. You fixed it. You added a little more right rudder. That's what we wanted. Okay. Don't let it sink. A little more G's. A little more G's.
Hey, firm. You can proceed to your discretion, whatever you'd like.
Good, and roll out. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing to the left. The left should be easier, actually, because of the P factor and left turning tendencies of the aircraft. So you'll need a little bit less rudder than you needed on the right side to stay coordinated. So we're still clear to the left, and whenever you're ready, start to roll into that turn, and I'll give you back power as necessary. It's good. You're actually starting to climb, so you roll in a little bit faster. A little more roll. Little. Good. And now keep that nose up. Keep that nose up. Roll out a little bit, and then pull back. Fix the nose. Now hold it here. That's the angle you want. Don't exceed 50. If you exceed 60, we're required to have parachutes.
One hotel, just picking up primary traffic off your left. We'll go at 9 o'clock in less than a mile. Currently northeast bound. The type announced both are done.
Okay, that looks good. That's nice and stable.
I come out on the heading.
Yep, roll out, roll. So you gotta hustle to make that happen.
Brunswick, good afternoon, November 1 Gulf X-ray.
1 Gulf X-ray, Portland.
Sir, good afternoon. Just departing Brunswick. The system.
Flaps 20, airspeed checks. I'm just going to pull power all the way down here. And take a little while to bleed off all the speed. Okay, there's 65. Flaps full. That'll help us cause drag and slow down faster. Okay, Do you feel like we're vibrating a little bit?
Tango at 7,500.
Look out the window at your flaps
Good
there.
afternoon, Portland altimeter 30.
Oh, they're vibrating too.
And ATIS Romeo.
So this is the first feeling of like a little bit of buffeting, but the plane is still pretty, you can look straight ahead. But the plane is like still kind of responsive. We're at 57 knots here. So that's even more important to keep the plane coordinated when you're flying this slowly. So I'm going to move the rudder trim to even, so that way it doesn't take up the tendencies of when we were going a lot faster. And I got to keep our altitude here, so I'm going to add a little bit more power. I'll bring the nose up a little bit more. Oh, 50 knots brings up the stall horn, right? And so I got to add a little power to not sink while we're doing that. Okay, now everything's super mushy, right? I'm on the right rudder to bring this in line. I'm going to lower the nose just a tad so that we don't actually break a stall at the moment. I'm going to add more power. If I try and make a little bit of a right turn, look how mushy this is.
You're landing at Waterville, correct?
Nothing does anything. The plane doesn't respond, and then the wings want to, like, that wing wants to drop, right? So this is buffeting. This is,
northeast of the field.
The airplane is not really, it's marginally flying at the moment. Okay. And I'll push this in, and then just watch your knee here, because I want to be able to get the flaps. Power back in. And we lost 200 feet. That's not bad. Your controls. We're not going to take things quite as far as I did. Okay. Airspeed check, flaps.
45 Tango. Yeah, you can have the RNF 18.
Saw horn, so I'm going to, well, a little more right rudder. You feel how the nose wants to go to the left there? More right rudder. I'm helping you to push.
We'll do a label.
Push the nose down a little bit. That's a little too high.
Proceed VFR to label, and I'll have the clearance as you get on fire.
Does it feel super mushy?
Proceed to label.
So notice how our nose is crazy high. I have to sit all the way like this just to see over the glider screen.
5.7, and have a good
We're not climbing at all, right? So what does that mean? That means the plane is doing this, which is what's causing that stall indicator over there to start to lift up. You have the negative pressure over the top surface of the wing with the separation.
Change to my frequency on 128.35.
Here.
Here's the number that says the attitude.
So 10 degrees is this line, 5 degrees is the bigger hash mark, 7.5 is between that. Keep it right about there.
Go back to that.
And eyes outside at the same time. So you're splitting your attention. Mostly eyes outside is how you be flying, but glance at it periodically.
This approach will...
And if you hear the stall horn like howling at you, push the nose down a little bit. We're at plenty of safe altitude here. He's currently 4.5 to 5 miles ahead of us, so we'll just keep that. 5 miles should be enough time to both land and taxi here over the runway.
on Charlie, Alpha to the ramp with me.
Left on Charlie, Alpha to the ramp with you, Endeavor 5379.
Cap flight 1785, wind 1808, runway 18, clear to land number 2.
18, clear to land number 2, 1785. Clear to land, landing lights on. Tanks are both. Cow flap set. Mixture coming in, prop coming forwards. Seats are still most upright. Seat belts are still fastened. And autopilot is off. Now flow is done. Before landing, start cockpit, passenger seat backs, seat belts, fuel selector, mixture prop, landing lights, autopilot, and 12-volt switch. Okay, landing is assured. Northeast ramp, Cap 785.
Cap 785, taxi to the ramp, Gulf Charlie.
Gulf Charlie 785.